Hi everybody, it's Technique Tuesday on August 24th, 2021. And tonight I'm going to show you a fun fold card. Let's get started. Here's the fold that we're going to be doing. It's a double fold over, and the card doesn't actually stand up with the backing. It has a pull-out piece that you can decorate as well. Looks really complicated, but I assure you it's really, really easy. So my friend Glenda made this one that she shared with me, and I just had to make another. So let's make one together. The pieces that you're going to need are 2 pieces of cardstock that are complementary colors. So I'm using Real Red and Sahara Sand, and they measure 4 1/4 across the top by 11 long. I've scored it in the middle at 5 1/2. All right, so we're going to fold these over and use the bone folder to put a nice crisp crease on both of them. They're basically going to nest inside one another. That's how this is going to work. But we have to cut a little piece off. So I'm going to grab the paper trimmer. I apologize for some glare from the lights. And I'm going to use my cutting blade. So how they're going to nest is like this. They're going to nest together and fold over. So that means we need to cut off one triangle on one side and one triangle on the other side. So let's start with the red one, which is the left side. I'm just going to hold this over here so I can see. So basically, this is going to be the piece that we cut off. So with the fold towards the left, we're going to go from this top piece down to this corner and cut off. So you stick that in your paper trimmer. You line up the bottom and you line up the top. Now I can only go so far. I'm going to lift my trimmer and move it forward up a little bit. There we go. So I'm at my score line here and I'm at my point here. And I just like to push my trimmer blade up. Keep this piece, we're going to need it. On the other side, on the Sahara Sand side, what we're going to do when we glue them together is we want to cut this top triangle off. So similarly, you're going to put the point where the fold is at the top, and you're going to put the point at the bottom right here in the cutting track and cut up. And there you go. Now we have the 2 pieces. That's probably the hardest part, is figuring out how to do those cuts. So I said to keep these 2 triangles that we cut off because they're going to be the pieces that layer in here. So you see this one has a calypso coral and then the peach color. Well, that's what we're going to do here. So to make these ones fit, we are going to stick them in the trimmer this way with the long side at the top, and we're going to cut off 1/4 of an inch. So with your long side at the top, cut off 1/4 of an inch, then you can see that when you layer it onto the opposite color, it lines up quite nicely. So let's do the same thing with the Sahara Sand. So with the long side at the top, across the top, sorry, this way. Goodness. The long side at the top and your triangle point that way. We're going to line this up at 1/4 inch and cut it off. We have 2 little strips that we've cut off here. We're not done cutting yet, so that one's going to fit on the red like this. All right, then we also need a piece of pattern paper, and I found it works best if your pattern paper is coordinating on both sides, then you don't have to cut 2 different pieces of paper. This measures 5 1/4 by 3 3/4, just slightly smaller, but it's still 5 1/4 across. So looking at our model, we're going to cut from this point down to this point. And if you've got a pattern like I have here with the deer, You want to keep that in mind, that you are cutting so that they are upright and not upside down. So this will go on this side, and this one, which has a lovely coordinating pattern, will go on the other side. So that's that done. And then we need a piece of white for the insert. This is 3 3/4 by 5 1/4 as well. All right, I think we're done with our cutting. So now it's time to assemble. Move this guy here. We'll take those two large card base pieces, and you're going to fit them one inside the other. Now it's up to you whether you want the red on the left or not. The one on the left will be probably seen a little bit more. You are going to have a little bit showing here. That's okay. That's completely normal. So let's do it this way. I will grab because I definitely wanted my deer to go on the red like that. So let me grab my liquid glue, and I'm going to put glue on the inside piece that is 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. Okay, I'm just going to put that in the inside, and then I'm going to slip the red one in over top. I want to line it up fairly nicely. Score it up, push it over. There we go. Maybe flip it over on its back and add the bone folder just to help it. It's gonna need a moment or two to dry. And while it's doing that, we can, on the red side, maybe I should work on this side, might be easier to see. So on the right side where the flap comes over, and we're going to glue these down. Okay, we're going to put the red cut off triangle that we trimmed a little bit. We're going to put it here. It's going to be really striking because the color is such a bright red opposite the neutral. Put a little glue here. All right, so we're going to glue these pieces on. So really, once you've cut the two bases, the rest of it is all part of what you're working with. So you're not wasting anything. And then we're going to put our pattern paper, which is just that little bit smaller. Glue this down. I think I could have trimmed it a little bit more. That's okay, because this whole flap is going to be hidden as this folds over. So this piece on this side, oops, get them all lined up here. There we go. The piece is a little wonky. I'm going to straighten him out a bit. Maybe I didn't cut him quite straight. So he was 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. Okay, just going to trim it a little bit so that it comes to a nicer point on this side. There we go. Okay, and that's going to go there. Perfect. All right, so we got the deer side up on here. And we dropped it. There we go. This is going to be okay. It's going to meld the colors nicely because it's the same pattern paper, same color paper. All right, and then we're going to put this onto the red like that. So we see a little bit of the red peeking through. Okay, so we're going to add glue there as well. Stick this down. Liquid glue is your friend when it comes to a project like this, because you can wiggle it into place without worrying about it not lining up nicely. All right, so now we need to glue this shut. Now we don't want to glue the whole thing shut. We just want to glue along the edge here. So opening it wide open, a little bit of thin bead of glue there, and we'll flip that over. Quite a thick card when you're done. And then this one the same way. We're going to put a little thin bead, and then I did put a little bit in the triangle piece here, just to give it a little stability. So I went up and I kind of eyeballed it. Okay, just so that I didn't get any glue on the inside, because we want, once it's together, we want to be able to slide our card in there. So you can decorate it as ornately as you would like. What I've done is taken more of this pretty Peaceful Prints paper, and we have a punch that punches out the actual image. So I'm just lining it up here with a punch. And this is going to go on here as my kind of focal point. So I'll move that out the way. And on my white piece, I'm going to do a little stamping. I'm going to double check that this measurement is good before I get too carried away, that it's going to slide in and out. Good. There. And I'm going to put a greeting across the top that says, "Sending love and peace this season." Could have used a bigger one on here, but I like these greetings with this stamp set. Goes really nicely with the paper and the deer, because they coordinate. Okay, so there's my real red. And to line this up nicely, I'm going to put it on my grid paper. Just like that. And you can add whatever else you might like along the bottom. This is as much the decorating I'm going to do tonight. Slide my piece in. And you can see my greeting nicely sticking out of there. And my deer will go right on here. I thought about doing a circle or some other piece, but I decided against that because I didn't want to take too much away from it. So from here, I'm going to add some dimensionals. Just pop this guy on. So the back side of this paper, when you punch the deer out, is actually gingham. And so you could just punch the deer that way too. In fact, maybe that's what we'll do. Let's see what it looks like with two deer on it. Peel the backs off. And let's put our deer here. And I had some gingham, the black and white, but now that I look at it, I don't think I like it with the Sahara sand. So we'll just leave it like so. Add some rhinestones. I have some red rhinestones in the annual catalog. I'm going to put those on here. Just to add a little twinkle. And it's just about ready for a gift card. It makes a great gift card holder. All right, so we'll just add a couple of these. Get a lot in this package. It's 220 rhinestones in a package for $9.50. So that's a great price, I think. So your pretty jewels, and they're just like our regular rhinestones, only you don't have to color them. So let's slip that back in my container after, and all good. So there we go. That is this one with the Peaceful Prints. This one Glenda made with the peach, sweet as a peach. And here's the one I made with the other designer series paper from Celebration. So I hope you like these. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back with another video on Thursday, posting around 6 p.m. With a 3D Thursday project. Have a lovely evening. Bye.